There comes a point in life when you finally begin to understand that everybody smiling in your face is not truly happy for you. Some people can tolerate you when you're struggling, confused, broken, uncertain, and doubting yourself. But the moment you begin standing taller, speaking clearer, carrying yourself with peace, and walking with confidence, something changes in the atmosphere around you. Suddenly, the energy gets strange. The conversations feel colder. The support becomes weaker. The love starts feeling forced. Many people spend years blaming themselves for the shift. They replay conversations in their minds, trying to figure out what they said wrong. They wonder if they became too proud, too distant, too confident, or too successful. But the truth is deeper than that. A lot of people are not reacting to anything you did. They're reacting to what your presence forces them to feel about themselves. That realization can change your life forever, because once you understand it, you stop carrying emotional guilt that never belonged to you in the first place. You stop shrinking yourself to make insecure people comfortable. You stop apologizing for your growth. And more importantly, you stop begging for acceptance from people who become uncomfortable whenever they witness your evolution. Human beings are emotional mirrors, whether they admit it or not. Your presence can expose things people work very hard to hide. Your discipline exposes excuses. Your peace exposes chaos. Your confidence exposes insecurity. Your self-respect exposes desperation. Your growth exposes stagnation. And not everybody is emotionally mature enough to handle what your existence reflects back to them. This is why some people become passive-aggressive, competitive, distant, cold, sarcastic, dismissive, or fake supportive after you start elevating yourself. It is not always because they hate you personally. Sometimes they simply hate the uncomfortable emotions your growth awakens inside of them. And instead of healing themselves, they project that discomfort onto you. One of the clearest signs of insecurity is when somebody starts competing with you even though you never entered a contest with them. You could mention a small achievement and suddenly they have a bigger achievement. You could share a simple goal and immediately they need to prove their goal is more important. You could celebrate a small victory and instead of being genuinely happy for you, they rush to shift attention back onto themselves. That behavior is not confidence. Truly confident people do not need to dominate every interaction. They do not need to constantly prove superiority. Secure people can celebrate others without feeling threatened by another person's shine. But insecure people often cannot do that because comparison is the foundation of their self-worth. When somebody builds their identity around being smarter, prettier, richer, deeper, more disciplined, or more respected than others, your growth becomes dangerous to them. Your progress disrupts the mental image they created about themselves. Suddenly, they no longer feel special in the way they once did. And because they do not know how to emotionally process that discomfort, they begin competing with you in subtle and exhausting ways. The sad part is that many people never even realize they're doing it. Their insecurity controls their behavior from the shadows. They're not operating from self-awareness. They're operating from emotional survival. Every conversation becomes a ranking system because internally they are terrified of feeling less than. This is why you must stop racing people who are secretly running from themselves. Their competition is not really with you. Their battle is with the insecurity living inside their own mind. Another painful reality is that insecure people often struggle to genuinely celebrate your wins. The moment you accomplish something meaningful, they immediately try to reduce its importance. They say things like, "Anybody can do that," or "You just got lucky," or "Let's see how long that lasts." Sometimes they do not even use words. Sometimes it's the energy itself, the flat response, the fake smile, the quick subject change, the lack of excitement, the delayed accomplishment. Their reaction tells the story their mouth refuses to say. A secure person can see your success without feeling emotionally attacked by it. But insecure people often interpret your growth as proof of their own failures. Your accomplishments force them to confront areas of their own life they have neglected. Instead of being inspired by your discipline, they become irritated by it. Instead of respecting your confidence, they resent it. This is why you must become careful about who you share your victories with. Not everybody deserves access to your joy. Some people are emotionally incapable of honoring your growth because your growth reminds them of the work they refuse to do within themselves. Far too many good-hearted people gaslight themselves in these situations. They convince themselves they are being too sensitive. They make excuses for cold reactions. They minimize their own intuition. But energy rarely lies. People reveal their true feelings through their consistency, enthusiasm, and emotional presence. When someone repeatedly downplays your progress, do not ignore the pattern. Their discomfort is speaking louder than their words. One of the most draining behaviors insecure people display is passive aggression. Instead of speaking honestly about their feelings, they communicate sideways. Little sarcastic comments, tiny insults disguised as jokes, backhanded compliments, strange shifts in tone, emotional coldness followed by denial. This behavior is exhausting because it creates emotional confusion. You can feel the negativity, but the person refuses to openly admit what they're doing. And if you react, suddenly you are labeled too sensitive or dramatic. But passive aggression is rarely random. It is usually resentment without courage. It is envy without honesty. It is emotional discomfort leaking out in disguised forms because the person lacks the self-awareness to directly confront their own feelings. Insecure people often struggle with direct communication because honesty would force them to examine themselves. It would require them to admit uncomfortable truths, and many people would rather create tension around others than face the darkness inside themselves. That is why emotionally intelligent people must learn not to internalize every strange energy directed toward them. Sometimes the tension you feel has nothing to do with your flaws and everything to do with the unresolved conflict inside the other person. One of the strangest experiences in life is realizing that some people monitor your every move while secretly withholding genuine support. They watch your posts, they notice your growth, they pay attention to your improvements, they study your life from a distance. But when it comes time to encourage you, celebrate you, or genuinely support you, silence fills the room. This happens because insecure people often become psychologically fixated on those they compare themselves to. Your confidence becomes something they analyze instead of appreciate. Your growth becomes something they monitor instead of applaud. Some people do not watch you because they love you. They watch you because they are measuring themselves against you. They are trying to understand your strength. They are searching for weaknesses. They are waiting for mistakes. They are hoping your confidence eventually collapses so they can emotionally relax again. This is why attention and support are not the same thing. Just because somebody constantly observes you does not mean they genuinely want to see you win. Many people feel emotionally drained because they mistake surveillance for love. But true support carries warmth, sincerity, encouragement, and peace. Insecurity carries tension, silent comparison, emotional distance, and hidden resentment. Learn the difference. One of the hardest truths to accept is that not everybody wants the highest version of you to exist. Some people were emotionally attached to your brokenness. They felt safer when you doubted yourself. They felt more secure when you needed validation. They enjoyed the version of you that remained small enough to fit inside their comfort zone. But growth changes relationship dynamics. The moment you begin carrying yourself differently, setting boundaries, healing emotionally, thinking clearly, and respecting yourself more deeply, insecure people begin feeling unstable around you. Your evolution becomes a mirror reflecting their refusal to evolve. That is why some relationships quietly fade when you start improving your life. It is not always because you became arrogant. Sometimes your growth simply stopped being emotionally convenient for the people around you. This realization hurts because many people genuinely loved others while growing. They never intended to create distance, but growth naturally exposes who is connected to your soul and who is connected to your insecurity. And once you understand that, you stop chasing people who become uncomfortable every time you rise higher in life. One of the biggest mistakes emotionally aware people make is shrinking themselves to protect insecure people from discomfort. They dim your intelligence, silence their voice, minimize their confidence, downplay their accomplishments, and suppress their authenticity just to keep others emotionally comfortable. But that path leads to self-betrayal. You were never born to become smaller so insecure people could avoid confronting themselves. Their healing is not your responsibility. Their emotional triggers are not your burden to carry. Your purpose is not to make everybody comfortable. Your purpose is to become fully who you were meant to be. That does not mean becoming arrogant. It means becoming clear. Stay humble, stay grounded, stay compassionate, but never confuse humility with self-erasure. Never destroy your own light just because somebody else refuses to heal in its presence. People will always reveal themselves through their reactions to your growth. Some will celebrate you sincerely. Some will become inspired by your evolution. Some will quietly distance themselves. Some will resent you without fully understanding why. But you know what? Let them. Your responsibility is not managing everybody else's emotional discomfort. Your responsibility is protecting your peace while continuing to grow into the strongest version of yourself. And once you truly understand that, you stop asking, "What did I do wrong?" You start asking a more powerful question. What is my presence revealing in them? That question can save you years of unnecessary self-doubt. At the end of the day, insecure people are fighting battles inside themselves that have nothing to do with you. Their reactions are often reflections of their own fears, wounds, regrets, and emotional limitations. Once you realize that, you stop carrying guilt that was never yours to begin with. Too many people abandon their authenticity just to keep insecure people comfortable. They become quieter, smaller, less confident, less expressive, and less alive because they are afraid of triggering jealousy or resentment. But shrinking yourself never creates real peace. It only creates silent misery. Your growth will naturally expose hidden emotions in others. Some people will become inspired by your discipline while others will resent it. Some people will respect your confidence while others will feel threatened by it. This is simply part of human nature, and it will always be. The important thing is learning not to internalize every strange reaction directed at you. Everybody's behavior is not a verdict about your worth. Sometimes people are simply responding to unresolved issues inside themselves that your presence unknowingly activated. So continue growing, continue healing, continue walking in your truth without apology, because the right people will never require you to dim your light in order for them to feel comfortable in the dark. And I've seen this time and time again. As a matter of fact, there are individuals who hover around in my life who are exactly just like this. Decades. And they celebrate when it seems that you're going to deal with something that is very negative. If you look deeper to the people who are circulating in your midst, who are orbiting your life, you just might find one or two of these characters there, and they don't feel good for you. You don't need to entertain their presence, because that energy alone, just dealing with the negativity, no matter how cloaked it is a drain nonetheless. A ship can sink from a small hole, or it can sink for a gaping hole, but nonetheless, holes will sink ships when water comes in, some faster and some slower. In your journey to achieve the highest version of yourself, you do not need somebody around you who is sinking your ship. Anyway, let me know what you think. Leave your perspectives in the comments section, and know that I care for all of you who wish me well. The ones who don't, kick rocks. Much love. LanceScurv out. I wish you all the best. On to the next one. Peace.